months ago, when you were our first guest, I told you that we'd been empowered to make you Fed chair. You said you would dissolve the Fed immediately. Now that you're sitting here, I've got the official Yahoo magic wand. You are Fed chair again. You need to be there. You can't dissolve it immediately because you've got a long-term lease on the place. What would you do? What should Bernanke do?
I would abolish the Fed and resign. I mean, if the Fed... We've had 3 central banks in America. The first 2 disappeared. This one is too. This one's going to disappear because between Greenspan and Bernanke, they've taken on staggering amounts of debt onto the balance sheet. Junk. A lot of it is junk. And eventually it's just going to disappear because it's going to go bankrupt. They're not doing what's good for the world.
Right.
First of all, they're taking on this huge debt, which you and I are going to have to pay, and everybody watching
Kick it down the street to our kids.
Yeah. It's not going to last that long. And second, they print all this money. We will have problems without a central bank. But it's better without a central bank than with one that's like this.
We're 2 patriots with kids. What can the U.S. do is what I'm asking. I mean, is there anything? Is this just done? Is this part of aging? Europe was the king. We became the king. China becomes it. Or can we do something?
Well, we have to, first of all, recognize reality. And the reality is we're the largest debt nation in the world. Until we at least face that reality and realize we've been printing a lot of money and start to deal with that, it's just going to get worse.
Do we need the reality thrust upon us in a most unpleasant way before we address it? You and I are addressing it. No one else does.
Throughout history, unfortunately, governments that get themselves into this situation don't do anything until there's a crisis or a semi-crisis. So when the crisis comes, or the semi-crisis, then somebody's going to start doing something about it. But then it's going to be so much worse because the debt will be that much higher, and the absurdity is going to be that much worse.
Life is a relative game. We had what many would call a full-on crisis 2 years ago. How would you characterize a semi-crisis or a crisis, economically speaking?
The next one's going to be worse. We've had recessions every 4 to 6 years in America since the beginning of time. That means that by the end of 2011 or 2012 or 2013, we're going to have another economic slowdown in America. When that happens, what are they going to do? They've shot all their bullets. You know, America quadrupled its debt last time when you take in things like the Fannie Mae. You know, we took on $6 trillion of Fannie Mae obligations, which they don't even talk about anymore.
The idea that we made it disappear.
Yeah, we made it disappear, right. But somebody's going to pay it off. And we can't print that much more money again. There are not enough trees in the world to print that much more money.
Mine's made out of cotton. So
I know. There's not enough cotton. I'm long cotton. There's not enough cotton in the world for them to print that much more money.
Long cotton is a good hedge, though.
It's a good hedge. It's a good hedge. But my point is, the next time there's a slowdown, it's going to be worse than the last time because we shot all of our bullets. At that point, when the crisis really is coming out of our ears, and even Washington understands, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Then maybe some action will be taken. But I'm even skeptical of that because the pain that's going to have to be taken is so great that most politicians could not run on a platform of, guys, we're going to have 2 or 3 or 4 years of serious pain. Yeah. They won't say it. It'll be forced on them.
It's not a great platform.
I know. That's why nobody would do it. That's why nobody's going to run on that platform, and nobody's going to get elected on that platform.
So do you think we continue to have to sort of prop this up and continue to inject stimulus? Mr. Bernanke has seemed a little bit out of ideas lately.
Mr. Bernanke's been out of ideas since he went to Washington. What's wrong with you? He's just an Ivy League professor.
I forgot. We got to the Washington thing.
He's just an Ivy League professor. Why do people think that he knows anything? For God's sakes, I went to an Ivy League school. They didn't know anything. And he's never been right. Please, go back. You should have somebody here do a study of how wrong he's been for the past 7 or 8 years. So, yes, he says everything is okay. But he also says he's going to stop QE2. I take him at his word because he said it so many times. But what's going to happen is when things start getting tough again, later in the year or next year when they slow down again, they're going to come back with more of the same because that's all they know. It's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. But they don't know any better. Remember, there's an election in 2012.
He's not an elected official.
Yeah, but he knows there's an election, and he knows where his bread is buttered, and Mr. Obama knows that there's an election in 2012. There's going to be enormous pressure to get Obama reelected.
And keep the economy kind of duct taped together and keep it going down the road.
Hold it together to November of 2012. That's everybody's plan right now. Not my plan, but that's their plan.
But he seems to say that you know, he says kind of the right things when he hints at it. He says monetary policy cannot be a panacea. He suggests that QE3 is not on the horizon. How is this going to take form, and specifically, you know, how is it going to impact your bond short?
Please go back and look. Mr. Obama, 2 years, 3 years ago, was talking about how they were going to unwind everything. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he was talking about, well, we got to do it again. We're going to do it again. Don't pay attention to the man, for goodness sakes.
Other people do, though, Jim. And
I guess you have to, because you're in charge. You got to write about something. You got to
trade something too, man. And I'm just playing the other people. And to the extent that folks believe it, I think we should have been much lower a long time ago. Like you, it seems like we've just been abusing the dollar. It just doesn't seem to want to die. It's Keith Richards. We prop it up and it never comes die.
We've been abusing our whole economy, our whole system. America is now the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. No nation has ever been such a huge international debtor, ever in history. And the only reason we got away with it is because the dollar is the world's medium of exchange. It's coming to an end. I don't like saying this. I'm an American. I pay taxes here. I vote here. But it's a fact. You've got to deal with reality, or you're going to go down the tubes with them.
Is there another way for people with the inability to teach their kids Mandarin or move to China that they can kind of buckle down and economically survive if they're just regular folks without,
Well, you can learn about foreign currencies. It's not that complicated to learn about foreign currencies and have some investments in other lands. I mean, everybody knows what Toyota is and Volkswagen. I mean, these aren't some strange concepts.
I've read your books. Start there.
You can start reading my books. You're exactly right. That's the best thing they can do. Learn about investing abroad, diversifying abroad, having foreign currencies. Learn about investing in commodities. Become a farmer. There are many ways to participate in what's going to be happening in the next 2 decades.
All right. Become a farmer and all worship and kneel before our Chinese overlords. Jim Rogers, thanks so much. It's a real honor to have you.
Thank you.